What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over how you can get easy crown wins in Fortnite Season 4. So this video is taking me longer to make than usual because the game has been changing so much over the course of the season, with boogie bombs initially being in the game and then being vaulted. Now we have the Goo Gun. So the meta has been changing, but I'm going to go over what I think of Season 4 and how I think the easiest way to get wins is. If you guys do enjoy this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more. Comment down below how many crown wins you've gotten so far in Season 4, and if you would like to use me for support or creator, my code is EvolveJake. You can use that in the item shop, and it is underneath the webcam at all times. So I think one of the biggest things, as always for zero build, is just getting consistent mobility. And the NPC that's in the middle of the map here on this balloon actually sells Shockwaves. And I believe this is the only NPC that sells Shockwaves. So I recommend landing mid-map or somewhere around mid-map. Grim Gables is one of my favorite POIs, or Shifty, and you can land there, loot it, rotate mid-map, get your Shockwaves, and then get more loot. You can land something like Fortress and rotate there. You can land Coney and rotate there. You can land Coney, Tilted and rotate there. Or you could just land mid-map itself. So you have a lot of options here. This NPC being mid-map makes it very convenient to rotate there from somewhere else and pick up Shockwaves if you don't get enough from looting. Or if at any point during the game you're running low on Shockwaves, you can hit up this NPC and buy more. The reason why Shockwaves are so important, if you've watched a lot of my content, I'm sure you're already aware of this because I talk about it so much. But zero build is just timing based. In some instances, it doesn't matter how much better you are than the other player. The timing can be such a deciding factor in a lot of fights, and mobility or Shockwaves is one of the only things that you can do to actually somewhat neutralize this bad timing, you know? If someone's hiding in a bush and you get caught in a bad spot and they fry you, you're probably going to lose that fight. And really the only thing you can do is try to Shockwave away. If you are fighting somebody and you end up getting third-partied, just unfortunate circumstance, Shockwaves are one of the things you can use to somewhat reset that fight. In a BR with 100 other players, there's so many factors that are out of your control, and the only thing you can really do to limit this is either just hide the entire game and not fight anybody, or carry something like mobility that you can use to reset fights, get away from fights, push fights, and end fights sooner. Because let's say you tag somebody and get them weak, you can't ramp rush them in zero build, you can't tunnel to them in zero build. Shockwaves are one of the few things that you can use, or just mobility in general, but I really like Shockwaves. Mobility is one of the only things you can use to really close that gap really quickly. So I think mobility is huge in zero build, and it's one of the only things that can kind of add to consistency, I feel like, because this mode it's good, but there's a lot of factors that are out of your control, and things can go from good to bad very quickly, and mobility is one of the few things that I think can kind of negate how much just randomness impacts your game. Mid-map also has a lot of hollow chest spawns, and I think hollow chests are also very important in Season 4. If you guys aren't aware of what hollow chests are, they're little lock icons on your map if you have a key. And they're just set boxes that project a hologram of what the box has inside, and when you open it, you get that item. So if you see a gold prime shotgun, for one key, you can get that gold prime shotgun. And I think this is really big because you could just get top tier loot really consistently out of these hollow chests, and your odds are you're probably going to have keys from looting mid-map or looting wherever you start off to and then go there. So you should be able to get some top tier items. You can also use the keys to open vaults, but if I had to choose between opening a hollow chest with a guaranteed gold prime or opening a vault and maybe getting a good shotgun, maybe just getting a bunch of stuff I don't need, typically I would rather go for the guarantee from the hollow chest, but this will really depend on your current inventory. If you already have a really good shotgun, you don't need a new one, you know? But this will depend on your current inventory and how many keys you have. I feel like the vaults are also really good, but I prefer to get the guarantee from the hollow chest. Hollow chests also have top tier healing items as well. You can get 6 chug splashes for 1 key. You can get 3 slurp fish for 1 key, and you can get 6 chili chug splashes for 2 keys. Chili chug splashes are like chug splashes, but they also give you a speed boost, so they're really good. And I know one thing that people have struggled with this season is just consistently getting those top tier healing items because there aren't as many coolers to go around the map, and the hollow chests are another great way to do that. 1 key for 6 is pretty insane, and if you ever find yourself in a bad spot, you can hit up the hollow chests and maybe find some top tier heals, you know? If you're approaching endgame and you've unfortunately had to use your heals already, these hollow chests can be a huge game changer and giving you the heals you need to win the game. So I think hollow chests are insane. I think mobility is insane. Another thing that is insane are the balloons in this season. You want to control these as much as possible. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people that just camp on top of it with snipers, and I know that is very annoying to play against. but it kind of reminds me of the blimps in Season 2. If there's a balloon or one of those vault balloons or the pirate ship, something along those lines, the floating structures in zone, or even the blimp itself, if one of those are in zone, you're going to want to be the person controlling it. And I tend to play more aggressive and I don't like camping, but this is one of those things where you either control it or you die to it in some cases. It's not like you need to sit on them all game, but they're a great place to kind of chill and reduce the likelihood of you getting killed by campers or just people hiding. You can gatekeep the balloon from other players, and you can also use these as mobility. I'll have a clip playing right now that'll be sped up, but you can go from all of these balloons without touching the ground. So in this clip that's sped up, I land at Rocky, the pirate ship, and I fly all the way to Logjam without touching the ground. That is how insane these balloons are. So even if you don't necessarily want to camp it all game, if you're passing by one, it's probably best to get up there and kind of scout out the area and see what you can see, and then maybe you glide onto somebody or glide to an area where you have an advantage over somebody, and then you fight them that way. Another thing that's really nice about these balloons is that oftentimes they have vaults, and that makes it really easy for you to recycle loot. So something like a sniper, the Hunter Bolt is insane this season. I personally don't carry it very frequently, but if you're in a position where you're kind of chilling here in gatekeeping zone or just gatekeeping the balloon itself from people, there likely is going to be a bolt sniper in the vault that you can recycle. And I'll have a clip of playing on screen now where I'm just kind of chilling on this balloon. Several people push into me. And like I said, I feel like it's one of those things you either control it or it gets used against you, and I end up picking several kills up with the sniper, even though I didn't really have to dedicate an inventory slot to carrying the sniper, just because there's so much loot in this vault. So the balloons are insane. You can honestly just go from position of advantage to position of advantage with these balloons and just like kind of clear out the map that way. And I feel like that is one of the better things to do in Season 4. I know a lot of people have said they've been struggling because of the lack of mobility and they just get caught off. And this could potentially be why. If you navigate the map using the balloons, you're going to be exposed for way less time, I feel like. The Goo Gun is also insanely overpowered right now. This might change in the future. They might nerf it. But I think the Goo Gun is the most overpowered item in the game right now. It's very similar to how boogie bombs were. It isn't used the same. It doesn't like give you the same effect of the opponent not being able to fight back. But I feel like you can use it in the same way. So like, let's say you get AR tags on somebody and then you want to shockwave to them. Instead of boogie bombing them as you're shockwaving to them, you could just goo them from the sky as you're shockwaving to them. And not only is this going to reduce their ability to shoot back at you, because when somebody has goo on them, they can't really see. It's going to be exploding and they're going to take damage. And this is either just going to kill the person outright or make them that much weaker when you do close the gap and make the fight a shotgun fight. So it's less random in that regard. So the Goo Gun is insane. Not only is it great at destroying cover, destroying bushes, destroying houses, forcing your opponents out into bad circumstances for them, you can also use it as a way to kind of neutralize your opponent as you're pushing them with the with shockwaves. And I think that in a lot of instances where you could use boogie bombs in the past, you can just replace the boogie bombs with this Goo Gun. The fight plays out pretty much the same, and then you also have the added effect of being able to destroy structures with it. So I think the Goo Gun is insane. Not only does it destroy things incredibly well, it'll melt your opponent's cover easily. It'll destroy cars easily. If you shoot a car with the goo and there's somebody in it, the driver, I think, always takes damage, or anybody in the car always takes damage from the goo exploding, which is insane. But it also is just a great way to like inconvenience your opponents as you're pushing them. So I think the Goo Gun is the most overpowered thing in the game right now. And my current inventory setup has been Prime Shotgun, Hammer AR, Chug Splashes, Shockwaves, and the Goo Gun. And ever since I switched to that, it's been super easy to win. It almost isn't even satisfying to win anymore with this setup. And then the final thing we're going to talk about is in-game. I previously talked in the video about how unfortunate timing or just bad circumstances that are out of your control can just be the end of your game immediately in zero build, because you can't build and you can't buy time and you can't reduce the angles you're exposed to in the same as you can in build mode in zero build. So unfortunate timing and unfortunate circumstances are a death sentence in zero build. Even if you're the best player in the world, you will lose if everybody in the lobby is just focusing you, unfortunately, especially with how insane the Hunter Bolt is. You'll have a lot of people playing in-game just hiding and waiting to third-party something with the Hunter Bolt. So even though I like playing aggressive and I like getting high kills, I feel like the best way to play in-game this season is just try to limit how much you're going to get third-partied. And if you just play to limit how much you're getting third-partied, if you play to not be in fights too much, you can fight, but just make sure it's a fight that you can end quickly if you're going to take the fight. You don't want to be in any of those kind of like drawn-out fights where you and an opponent are just trading mid-range AR tags and it's not really going anywhere. fight if you think you can get the kill quickly and get out safely, but if you're going to be in one of those long drawn out fights, you're better off just not having it, because the rest of the lobby is going to third party you. And this season is very campy, especially with how effective the hunter bolt is. A lot of people want to just sit in bushes or hide and play off the sniper because it is so good. And so the more you fight, the more you make yourself a target, the more those people are going to focus you, and the more you're probably just going to die and have it not really be your fault, you know? You can be much better than everybody in that lobby, but if you're causing problems and everybody focuses you, and you have 3 people just throwing out snipe shots at you, odds are one of them is going to hit, and it might be the end of your game. So play late game to just put yourself in the best spot and not get third party. Don't fight unless you have to, or unless you think you can get the kill quickly. And with the goo gun, it does kind of make that type of situation easier, because you can get the goo on opponents and just melt them down and get that kill really quickly, or force them out of a bush with it. Any cars in game you can destroy with it super easily. But that is going to be it for today's video. Land mid-map or somewhere near mid-map. Make sure you get shockwaves. Make sure you're taking advantage of hollow chests so you can have top tier loot and top tier heals very easily. Control those blimps and balloons in-game, and if there's one in-game, that's great for you. And just play in-game in a more kind of reserved passion. It's not like you need to camp and not fight at all, but just don't fight unless you think you can get the kill really quickly, and then set yourself up to deal with the impending third parties, because a lot of people just want to kind of sit around and exist in third party this season. Let me know if you found this video helpful and informative. Let me know how many crown wins you have so far this season down in the comments below. If you did enjoy it, give it a like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.